What's going on, guys? JD at JD's Custom Buggies. This is the motor for the number 7 Carbide project. I had just had to replace the stator, so I didn't think about it, but I figured what I'm going to do is just do a quick video. I'm going to take the stator I just took off on. Or I'm going to rip it off. I'm going to put it back on. I'm going to replace it. And just for those of you who've never had to do this or never been to this part of the motor before, and kind of give a demonstration on how a flywheel puller works. Because if you have to change your stator or whatnot, you're going to need one of these to do it the right way. So, that being said, I'm going to quickly pull this off, go through it, and try and make this quick and painless. So, first thing we do, take all our plastics off, get the fan. You don't need to necessarily, if it's in the buggy, you can just take the fan cover off and have access to all this. Of course, this motor's not fully together yet, so there's no point, or no plastics on it. Alright, so here's our flywheel. Switch bits. It's a 17 millimeter. Basically, a 17 to 8 will get you through this whole project. Knock it off. Now, it's mounted to the crankshaft and it's tapered. So, that is not coming off. I've seen guys use 3-jaw pullers on these things. That's really not what you want to do. This is a lot easier. What you don't want to do is risk hurting this crankshaft here. Or the shaft that this is mounted to, which is the crankshaft. But that would open up a whole nother can of worms. So, the flywheel puller is actually reverse thread, and the threads in the flywheel are reverse thread, so it basically turns backwards and it goes into there, into said flywheel. You want to make sure you have enough threads in there so when you do pull it out, you don't just rip the threads out. You're like 2 or 3 turns won't really cut it, but if you can just spin it on and let it go in as much as you can by hand, that should be enough. So, the 17 will do this job too. So we're just gonna paint. That's all it really takes. If you have the right tool. Put a 3-jaw puller on there, you might be struggling a little bit. So again, reverse thread. We're gonna spin it off. Any little tool. So here's our flywheel. Place this over here. That's our stator. Alright, so like I said, an 8 millimeter will do the job all the way around. So 2 bolts that hold the stator in to the cover. Okay. And then you have 2 case bolts here that have a strap. Usually, you want to take a motors apart or whatnot, I just leave this strap on these 2 bolts, so I know those are the right bolts to hold that strap in. And then you have 2 little bolts here that hold the pickup in. Now these 2 bolts here are not like the other bolts in the motor. Same size, same thread, 8 millimeter head on them, but they are they're completely wimpy. So you want to be careful when you put it back. And that being said, I'm using an impact. I've done this quite a few times, so I kind of have a feel for how hard I can hit these. But yes, I will stress to you, you're best off just using an impact for disassembly and really not for assembly. So, let's say this is the bad stator. It comes out, and then we open the box and we get our new stator, and we're going to put it back in. And putting it back in is basically the reverse. Now, if you notice right here, there's a little space in the groove, and that's basically for your wires to go up through, so not to get pinched by these ridges that are in there in the casting. So, that being said, line up your holes. I haven't tightened it up yet, so I'm going to route this wire up in that ridge. Put the grommet in. There's a little notch out for the grommet. Okay. And now my wire is not in that ridge, it's kind of up in the empty slot there. And then pickup wire, the remainder of it, is getting tucked behind the pickup. So basically all these wires get fed or get tucked behind the two posts here that are threaded for the pickup. And this is where you want to be careful if you ever think about using an impact, because I have broken off, and being in a rush, I've broken off these bolts in this cover. So you just want to hit it until it stops if you're using a gun, which I don't recommend. Okay, there, it stopped. See, I'm just kind of popping on the trigger. Alright, now that being said, I'm going to go ahead and tighten these up. And then I'm going to get our two case bolts with the strap. And that strap is what holds the wire down flat to keep the flywheel from hitting it. Now, you don't want to be in that ridge when you hammer the strap down, because you can pinch the wires. So that's why you want to be up in that little bacon area when you route your wires through. Okay, bingo. Alright, putting the flywheel on, it's really not rocket science. You have a keyway here. The keyway just makes sure that there is a pickup, or there is a magnet on here for the pickup, and this all has to do with the timing of the motor. So you want to make sure, you don't have to make sure because you have a keyway to make sure, but this lines it up so that magnet's always in the same spot every time. Alright, and I just kind of, it's magnetic, as soon as I get close it wants to pull itself in there. So I make sure that I'm close, and then just give it a little spin, you'll feel it lock into the keyway. Now this shaft is tapered on there, so once you hammer this nut down and take the nut back off, you really can't get it off without the tool. You don't really have to, you don't want to strip the threads on this, so I just use the electric on this. I really don't take air to these. Doesn't seem to be necessary so far. With everything I've done, I've never had a flywheel bolt come loose. That's it. So, nothing left. Switch our bit again. Fan bolts I just left right in the fan. So I kind of find the hole and line it up. Yep, got it. Start them. Make sure this way. Alright, now. Okay, fan's on. Put your cover back on, you're ready to rock. There's your plugs. Boom, stator installed. So, I will include a link to this tool in the comments. I believe it goes for $19.99. And then possibly I'll put a stator and flywheel in there too if you're looking for it. There are 6-pole stators, there are 8-pole stators, there are 11-pole stators. Some of the older motors and a lot of scooters come with a 6-pole stator. The Trailmaster motors and a lot of the newer buggy motors, they have 8-pole stators. It just basically, an 8-pole is going to give more charging ability than a 6-pole, and an 11-pole more than an 8-pole. So, anyhow, thanks for sticking around. If you're learning, you're interested, please subscribe, hang out, and if you need parts, by all means, please visit gotbuggies.com. You can go on Facebook, give JD's Custom Buggies Inc. a like. That'd be awesome too. But buggy up, Buttercup. Have a good one, guys.